What is up, Clarity community? We are back on the Clarity YouTube channel with a very special guest today. Pi, how's it going? Thank you for coming to the channel.
It's going really good. We just launched our preview testnet for the V3, which people are really excited about. So um, that was a lot of work. So I'm glad to get that over the finish line. Now we're just working towards our mainnet launch.
Absolutely. Relatable things there. We'll be working on pushing V2 to mainnet soon here. So staying busy. I know we're both staying busy. So thank you for taking the time to come here. And really today what triggered this was the collaborations between Clarity and Sundae. One of those things being a automatically executing DAO proposal that triggers a treasury swap using Sundae's technology. So that's going to be coming to fruition around the same time as our mainnet launch later this year, or sooner than later this year, but very shortly. And also having the ability for DAOs to use the rewards distribution mechanism that Sundae has built out as well, and integrating with that. So really what we're going to do here, I'm going to ask you a few questions. Some of them are just thought-provoking, philosophical, some would say, but we'll just get your thoughts and we'll go from there. So the first things first is, please tell us about yourself.
Sure. So hi, I'm Pi. That is like the number. I got my name legally changed because, Pi is a nickname they gave me in early high school, and it kind of just really stuck. At the time, I hated mathematics, and then grew to love mathematics over the next kind of 4 years, and um, really leaned into that. And it was really cool to be able to pick that part of my identity in some sense. I tell people I'm a mathematician by passion now and a programmer by trade. And so I've been programming for 23, 24 years. Um, uh, a big chunk of that, probably 15 years professionally, and done a lot of really cool things. And now I'm the CTO at Sundae Labs, which built the Sundae Swap protocol and is building a bunch of blockchain related services to kind of enrich the Cardano ecosystem. You're muted.
Sorry about that. That's a great segue into the next question. So Sundae does a lot of stuff. You guys build a lot of core infrastructure that helps power Cardano projects. So really just dive in, tell us about Sundae and what you guys have and what you guys are building towards.
Sure. So Sundae Labs is a software company, and that I kind of got roped into. I originally thought it was just going to be a side project, and then, it eventually ended up taking over my life, and I became really, really passionate about it. I'm technically not one of the founders. It was founded by two other folks, but I kind of am the CTO and a lot of the drive behind the company. And those two founders have actually since left, and so I'm now the owner of the company. But yeah, so our flagship project is Sundae Swap, a decentralized exchange on Cardano. We were the first AMM DEX to launch on Cardano, and really we have been there since May of 2021, pushing the boundaries of Cardano, right? So we were some of the first people to be building transactions without the PAB, and we were the first people in the world to run smart contracts on Hydra before even the Hydra team themselves. And we're kind of just constantly trying to push the boundary of what's possible on Cardano, either through our flagship project, Sundae Swap, which is a protocol that we built that's now owned by the Sundae DAO, maybe a bit relevant to you. And then, but we've also started building these kind of infrastructure services that other projects can use. So we built a governance platform for ourselves that we offer to a couple other projects to use. Happy to onboard anybody if you're looking for a kind of governance solution. It kind of strikes that middle ground between like a forum poll that's completely off chain that has no weight or assurance, and something like Clarity DAO, which is fully on chain and is really great for that heavy hitting stuff, but maybe not your go-to solution for lightweight questions, because it ends up being pretty expensive to have everybody cast a vote on chain. So we try and strike that middle ground and fill that niche, and we think it works pretty well. We've also got Sundae Rewards, which is a distribution platform for tokens that doesn't it. The kind of key differentiator there is that it's not a vending machine style rewards platform where you have to send in ADA and then at some point later you get back. You kind of claim your rewards in a single transaction. So just right then and there you get your rewards, and that we think that's pretty satisfying for people. Then we've built some infrastructure, some of the open source infrastructure, and contributed to things like Aiken and different open source Go libraries for Cardano, and Palace, which is a library built by TXPipe. So we try to be good neighbors in the ecosystem where we kind of give back in ways that we can. The tools that we're using, we try to improve them and things like that. So that's kind of
Yeah.
Sundae Labs. We also, just to add on the end, we do design consulting, audits, and kind of develop consulting work like dev shop. So
Yeah, absolutely. You guys do a lot of stuff for the ecosystem. I think one point that's interesting to touch on is just the different types of levels of on-chain governance. There's certain products like Sunday governance and various snapshot polling, which Clarity has as well, that are less heavy-handed. So you don't have to pay a transaction fee to put your vote out there and get it officially on chain. So it's like there's those community decisions. Maybe it's like an art competition, or maybe it's deciding on a logo update or something like that that may not necessarily need to be completely on chain. But then there is other decisions like treasury spending and updating protocol parameters, where those merit to have a fully on-chain thing that automatically executes. So very interesting kind of topics there. Next question for you is more philosophical than anything. Obviously, me, you, a lot of other founders in the Cardano space, we really love blockchain. So why do you believe in it? Why are you passionate about Sundae Labs in terms of it being a blockchain enabled company?
yeah, so I kind of tweeted about this earlier in the year, but I see blockchain as kind of a nuclear disarmament treaty with existing power structures, right? So our society has kind of grown these structures that oftentimes leave people with the least power at a huge disadvantage. So this ranges from uh, exploitative rental policies, or like the people who are charged the most banking fees are those who are most disadvantaged, like ATM fees and overdraft fees and things like that. And these are just really like, if you look at it, seem almost designed to trap people in poverty, or keep you down when you're down. And and this is that's kind of just one example, but this is very broad and far reaching. And I see blockchain as a way to say, hey, let's take some of this power that has accumulated in corporations or government entities or things like that, and where possible, just outsource some of that to a neutral third party, the blockchain, right? Some of the record keeping and some of the decisions about who owns an asset. And I think by doing that, you can make society a lot more efficient, right? Because you're not having to pay for a warehouse of record keeping, and the electric and utility bills for that building, and the lawyers and clerks who keep the records up to date. And there's like a huge infrastructure of our society that we can dismantle. And you are kind of shifting the trust from these human run systems to these mathematics run systems. And I think that's a really powerful idea. And I think for all of the warts and downsides and uh, uh, rough edges that blockchain has, right, where it creates huge avenues for exploitation and scams. It creates it brings a lot of greed out of people. I think for all of those negatives, the upsides and this potential to change the way that we structure our society is still kind of overwhelmingly positive, and that's why what gets me really excited about blockchain.
Yeah, yeah, a lot of what you said resonated with me. I think at the very foundation of why I love this space is it creates a superior source of truth and gives equal opportunity to, you can create a globally transparent economy, and it's exciting. Whether it's governments who have too much control or corporations that are making decisions on their millions of users' behalfs, or misusing the information that they get, or there's a lot of examples you could point to, but definitely. So now, getting more specific in the blockchain space, you have been an OG on Cardano. Sunday was one of the first people to take the arrows in the back, as pioneers, and launch very early. Probably a blessing and a curse. So why do you believe in Cardano?
Yeah, so I've actually been in the blockchain space for a lot longer than that. I first heard about blockchain from a Slashdot article that was a link to the Bitcoin white paper in late 2009, early 2010. I remember back then, downloading the Bitcoin miner on my laptop and leaving it running overnight and minting 3 blocks, getting 150 Bitcoin back then, and it being worthless, and somebody paying 10,000 Bitcoin for a pizza. And I remember when they invented GPU mining, somebody said, "Hey, I've been working on this over the weekend, and want to publish or want you to try out this GPU miner." And unfortunately, my laptop got stolen when Bitcoin was worth $1, and was much more upset about the laptop, but over time became really bitter about, that rise of Bitcoin. And I just didn't want to think about it and think, I got sick to my stomach thinking about the kind of lost opportunity and things like that. So I left blockchain for a long time and really just focused on, my career, the jobs that I was working, finishing out school and my master's degree and things like that. And in 2017, somebody, we were going through the Bitcoin craze, that crazy where Bitcoin hit $20,000 for the first time, and everybody was freaking out, right? Um, I remember somebody saying, "Okay, well, just check out, this Cardano thing. It's like a different project, and also, I'll have to apologize. I haven't gotten much sleep, so I'm not as articulate maybe as I usually am. But so I watched some of the original Charles whiteboard videos and the videos with Duncan Coots, and it was there's very few projects that have given me that same feeling as an engineer about the kind of soundness of the tech and the kind of change of ideas that Bitcoin, then Ethereum, then Cardano did. Those are really kind of the only 3 projects that have really inspired me in that way. And so, I got back in and kind of followed Cardano for a while. Then we hit the bear market, and life got crazy, and so I was focusing on other things. And during the pandemic, I thought, oh, uh, how's that Cardano that I bought doing? It wasn't doing so hot. It was down to 3 cents, and so I just started, playing around again, started getting involved in the Cardano community, and like I was saying, there's really something special about the tech and the thought that's been put into the architectural design of Cardano. Right. It gets a lot of flack for not having some of the flashy bells and whistles like instant finality and 1,000 TPS that some of the other projects have. But like, it's as an engineer, I can really appreciate that it's not because the tech is bad, it's because they're making different trade-offs. And those are trade-offs that I think are important to make. Things like valuing the decentralization of the blockchain, things like valuing the determinism of the blockchain so that users aren't paying a fee if their transaction fails. So like there's just all these decisions that are wrapped up in there. And another really big thing about Cardano that set it apart, especially in 2017, was the idea of like self-funding itself. So the idea of establishing this treasury and then letting people on the blockchain itself vote to on how to spend that. That was like a mind-blowing idea to me. And I'm really happy to see things like that come to fruition with Voltaire, but also in get replicated in smaller bubbles with things like Clarity DAO, setting up DAO treasuries and things like that. So Cardano is just, it
Yeah.
feels very much like a special beast in the space to me.
Yeah, I agree. And you started talking about Voltaire, so that bleeds into kind of the next topic that we have here, the last two here. What is your opinion on DAOs? So obviously we have Project Catalyst. Some argue it's a DAO. It's more of like a DAO-like experiment, in my opinion. But what do you think of DAOs? Like for clarity, obviously you have CIP 1694 coming down the pipeline with Voltaire, and that's going to kind of make Cardano a completely decentralized autonomous organization, which is awesome. Now, where clarity comes in is we believe that it's the responsibility of the ecosystem and the projects building on top of this chain to also operate in a decentralized manner, which is why we're building the infrastructure we're building, so it's easy for anyone to create an on-chain organization. So, what is your opinion on DAOs? And you can even get into kind of the Sundae DAO and how that will might work in the future too.
Yeah, I know. I think, I was talking earlier about this nuclear disarmament treaty with power structures, and I think DAOs are kind of the crux of that. This idea that we can take some of the opportunities for abuse, opportunities to make decisions about a very large company, for example, of, how are we going to pursue these profits, or how are we going to use this user data that we've collected, or things like that, and um, and break up that decision making, right, into smaller components. Now, DAOs have, a very diverse set of structures. Sometimes a DAO is focused on, okay, well, we have like 20 people that are making this decision that are the employees, and it's more like a worker owned co-op. Sometimes DAOs are like, let's spread our net as far as we can and really make it community owned. And I also don't think, I tend to be the person who always walks the middle uh, ground. Despite, sometimes I think walking the middle ground can be a cop out. But I try to have like a balanced and nuanced perspective on things, and I don't think every company needs to be a DAO either, right? I do think it's a really essential part of the infrastructure of this space, and especially where there's huge opportunity for abuse, it's really important for DAOs um, to spread out that decision making. And so, you asked about the Sunday DAO, and that's, we really wanted to. I picture it like building a boat and then pushing it off out to sea. We really wanted to build Sunday Swap as a protocol and empower the community to take and control the direction of that. And there's ways which it's still, a bit dependent on Sundae Labs, um, and we're kind of constantly working to um, decouple from that. And I try to tell people I'm not King Sunday, and we've really been cultivating participation in our DAO and our governance. So if you're listening out there, we'd love to have you participate either on the forum or in our governance channel. But um, it's a really critical part of the Sunday Swap protocol to have the community making these big important decisions about the protocol and about how it evolves.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think user-owned protocols are they sum up kind of the essence of decentralization and blockchain a little bit for me. But you can't come out, in my opinion, you can't come out as a user-owned protocol right out the gate, right? In my opinion, you kind of have to have product market fit to be a DAO. So you have to have a community, you have to have enough people, interested and passionate enough to participate and care about the direction of the DAO before you just kind of let it off into the wild. So
Mhm.
Clarity is also going to go through a DAOification process as well, where right now we're centralized, right? We're kind of like a team building a application, but eventually we're going to hand over the keys to the community, and then it will slowly decentralize over time. So the last thing is, I touched on kind of the collaborations we got going, the automatically executing treasury swap, which will be exciting, and then also the rewards distribution. So, you know, with this collaboration between, I guess, Clarity as DAO infrastructure and the tools that Sunday is providing, what would you like to see come to fruition?
Yeah, I mean, so this is probably a good opportunity to talk about Sunday V3, right? So I know you've built this this swap mechanism that because it wasn't available, goes through Sunday V1 right now. Really excited to help you add V3 support to that because Sunday V3 has uh, we've really focused on how do we make integrations like this really seamless and really pleasant to work with. And so basically, the idea that a DAO can swap some amount of their treasury, whether it's their native token that they're holding, or into ADA to pay for some expense that the DAO has incurred, or whether it's using some revenue that has been taken in by the protocol to buy different protocol owned liquidity, right? Deposit liquidity into a DEX, or buy up some Optim bonds, or lend some of their asset to Liquid. I think this kind of integration and um, uh, throughout the ecosystem is really important. So that, because like the only solution you have right now is have a DAO vote to pay it out to one of the members, and trust that member to execute the swap, or deposit into a lending protocol, or whatever, right? And so building these kind of composable components um, for integrating DAO infrastructure like you're building with other protocols, and integrating other protocols with other protocols, is really important, and a really cool thing that Cardano in particular enables. And so I'm excited to see something like that come to fruition. Would love to continue to extend it with things like provide liquidity, or some of the other cooler features we have in V3. So looking forward to that.
Absolutely.
That's more so on the Sunday protocol side, though. Like, you guys can build, like, we helped by like telling you how it works and things like that, but you largely built that on your own, which is a great kind of uh success story of the Sunday protocol, in that it doesn't that's a piece that doesn't rely on us at all. um and so really excited to see that come to fruition, and expanded in the future. And for the rewards, we've built the Sunday rewards platform. It's not, a decentralized rewards distribution platform. I think that not everything needs to be decentralized, and if you were to build something like what we've built in a smart contract, often you would end up paying more in fees than what you're claiming in the first place. And so perhaps we will have a kind of self custody smart contract based solution for that in the future. But I do think it's a really powerful platform for projects and DAOs to reach their community, to kind of um, distribute those tokens to that initial seed set of people really efficiently, and allow them to reward their users for um, you know participation in their platform, right, or in their governance, which, like you said, is a really important part of the success of governance, is getting people engaged and interested. And one of the easy ways to do that in the beginning is to pay them to be engaged and interested, right? And then kind of wait for um, the wait for that seed to grow into a richer and deeper community. So, um,
Yeah.
really excited to partner with you on that, and kind of offer any of the DAOs through the Cloud Clarity platform the ability, or a path towards this kind of like rewards distribution structure.
Yeah, absolutely. Just to double click on that a little bit, the idea is that on Clarity, you have a community leaderboard. So people level up this leaderboard for creating or completing incentives, participating in governance. So then you're going to have everyone in a list. Everyone in a list. You can see who's participated the most. Okay, so how much should they be airdropped, et cetera, et cetera. And you can just export this file, send it to Sunday as part of our partnership, and then you guys will be able to distribute the tokens in a super easy way. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited for kind of the DAO treasuries participating in the DeFi ecosystem as well. That will definitely get built out more and more. But that's it. Thank you very much, Pi. Any closing thoughts?
No, thanks for having me on, and I'm really excited for what Clarity DAO is doing. I've been kind of following the project for a while, and with the kind of I can say this with the upcoming V3 launch, one of the big features is that the protocol revenue is collected to a smart contract controlled treasury. And, ultimately it's not my decision which treasury provider we go with. So there will be a DAO vote on, which to select. But for me personally, Clarity DAO is the front runner, and I would love to see Clarity DAO kind of using the infrastructure that you've built to hold the Sunday treasury.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's exciting. Obviously, it's up to the DAO. And if any of the Sunday community ever has any questions or anything, you can always, you know where we are on Twitter, on Discord, and everything. But yeah, that's exciting. Clarity will be going through a similar thing where the fees from the protocol will be going to a DAO treasury as well. So excited to pioneer this stuff with you, Pi. And Clarity community. We'll see you next time.